Recently, I watched my favorite comedian, Gabriel Iglesias, tell a story of how he went to India to do some comedy shows over there. During one of his shows, he talked about the different types of drinks every race likes. How some Mexicans like tequila, how some white people like Jaeger, and how Indians like Fanta. When he said Fanta, the crowd of Indians got excited because Gabriel, who's from another country and who's a famous comedian, knew about their culture. I'm here to tell you how culture, as well as ethnicity and gender, can have an influence on communication. The reason why I'm speaking on the topic is because speaking on culture, ethnicity, or gender could end good or bad depending on how you use them in your speech and how they can help engage your audience. Let's start with how utilizing these can help your speech in a positive way, and then in a bad way. For example, back to that Gabriel Iglesias performing at that show in India. There were, of course, Indians, but there were also Germans in the crowd. Gabriel knew there were Germans in the crowd, but he didn't include them when he was talking about what the other race's preferred drink was. The Germans noticed this and confronted Gabriel about this mid-show. The Germans were yelling at Gabriel and were calling him fat. Gabriel was apologizing, but the Germans didn't back down. Gabriel didn't mean to leave out the Germans and even apologized, but the Germans were obviously in the wrong because they took it too far. This is a great example of how making the mistake of leaving out certain cultures, intentionally or not, can have a negative impact when you speak to people. Another example, Gabriel Iglesias. Back to him. He has many jokes where he incorporates culture, like earlier, ethnicity, and gender into them, and he uses them positively to make his audience laugh. But sometimes he also uses them in a bad way, not intentionally, but also uses them without knowing that it could be in a bad way. Since we already went over culture, we'll go with ethnicity now. Gabriel is a Mexican, so he likes to throw in some Spanish into some of his jokes. Since he has a crowd that probably doesn't understand Spanish, some people might not get the joke, which is a negative way of using ethnicity in his shows. However, Gabriel caught on to this. He started to translate whatever he said in Spanish whenever he spoke it, allowing everyone in the audience to participate in his shows. This is an example of how ethnicity can be used positively and negatively. Now, for an example on gender. Using Gabriel as an example again. Gabriel told a joke about when a guy asks his girlfriend questions, such as, what do you want to eat, or how do you feel? And how the female would usually respond in a vague or unexpected way. But he told the joke in a way that everyone was laughing, and everyone could relate to it. It would have been bad if he were to stereotype the girls in a bad way, or if he talked bad about them, but he didn't. Those are just a few examples of how using culture, ethnicity, and gender can help engage your audience in a respectful and fun manner, as well as make your communication skills better and leaving your audience thinking about what could come next.